Hey guys, welcome back. Macy here, the Bright Side Girl, and today I'm going to be doing my June wrap-up for all the books that I've read in June. This is going to be up super late, probably more towards the middle of July, just because I went on vacation for the 4th of July and it was kind of a hectic time. But I did read a ton of books in June and I'm excited to talk about them, so let's get started. Okay, as you guys know, I'm in the middle of Mermaid Marathon, where I'm trying to read like as many mermaid books as possible, but also without burning myself out. So I did read a lot of mermaid books. I read, I think, about 6, but I also broke them up with some different types of audiobooks, as well as a couple of contemporaries and a kid's book, and I've read a lot of stuff. So we're just gonna dive right into that. Okay, the first Mermaid series that I read and finished, I read Deep Blue from the Waterfire Saga by Jennifer Donnelly, I think last month or in April, and so I wanted to continue on with that Mermaid series, and so I picked up Rogue Wave, which is book 2, Dark Tide, which is book 3, and then Sea Spell, which is book 4, and I did not have the chance to grab that from the library to show you guys the cover, but I own these middle 2 books. I read these. This is by Disney, Hyperion, and like I said, Jennifer Donnelly, and they were so good. They were very Disney. They were much more middle grade, so just like a fun fantasy. There's some dark stuff in here. There's a tiny bit of romance, but overall they're just a really fun read. Very intricate. The world is super complicated. So complicated, in fact, that there is an index in the back of all 4 books that will like tell you what all of the crazy mermaid language words mean and the names of all the characters, because there's just so many. I feel like that could have been executed a little bit better, because I know with series like Harry Potter and I think even Cassandra Clare, there's also a lot of characters, but you don't have a hard time like keeping up with it as much as I kind of did with this book, partially because they were so crazy. The names were so crazy, and also because some of them were very similar, so they kind of blurred together, so that would be my criticism. But overall, I super enjoyed these. They have beautiful covers for the most part, yeah, this is a great mermaid series if you're looking for something like that. Okay, next up, I listened to 3 audiobooks this month because my library has a really cool audio and ebook app that I can listen to them very easily, and it's kind of like listening to Spotify, and so I plowed through some audiobooks this month. And the first one I picked up was Anomaly by Kristen McGee. I decided to listen to this one because one of my friends gave me a bunch of books, a bunch of paperback books to read that she no longer wanted to keep because she reads everything on her ebook. And so I wanted to listen to it while I was in the middle of Mermaid Marathon so that I could see if I wanted to keep this or not, because I generally like hardback. So I figured I'd listen to it, and if I like it, I'd get the hardback, and if I didn't, then I'd let it go. This is a Christian themed dystopian series. I liked it. I felt like there were some things that needed worked on. I felt like it might be a little bit too preachy if you're not of the Christian faith. If you are of the Christian faith, you'll probably really love this. And not that there's anything wrong with that. I felt like it might take away from the books in the next couple of books that are in the series. So I'm going to wait to see to give my overall thoughts on that. In general, though, I liked it, and I'm interested enough to keep going to see what happens, but it's kind of like a typical dystopian series. Next up, I'm trying to read at least one like children's book or children's classic book a month to just kind of get caught up. I've already read Stuart Little by E.B. White, and I knew that I really liked this one. This is also illustrated by Garth Williams. I like E.B. White. He's who wrote Charlotte's Web and also Trumpet of the Swan. I like all of those books, so I decided I found this one. It's a beautiful older copy in really good shape with the beautiful pictures. I love the illustrations in E.B. White's books by Garth Williams. Also, what's cool about this book is that if my cover gets damaged, this is what the actual book looks like, so it's the same. I'm really tempted to just get rid of this cover all together because it's so pretty. Anyway, I read this. I didn't like it as much as I did the first time around. That could be because I was a kid. It ends kind of weird. It has a little bit of like an old style. I love the idea of like these parents have a mouse instead of a regular child, and he just lives in their family like he's a regular person, and they don't really refer to him as a mouse, but he kind of has like mouse-like adventures. So overall it's pretty good. I feel like it ends kind of strangely, but this is just a classic. It's a good one to have on hand, and the movie is really, really adorable as well. Okay, next up, I listened to Before I Fall from Lauren Oliver on audiobook, and I was lucky enough to find this book at one of my dollar bookstores recently, and oh my gosh, I was so skeptical when I went into this. I haven't read anything by Lauren Oliver, and I sometimes struggle with contemporaries, and I knew this one had an interesting premise where basically she is a popular girl in high school, and they're in a girl group, and they get into a car wreck and she dies, and she has to relive the same day over and over again and kind of figure out why that's happening and what's going on in her life and choices that she's made and all that stuff. And this book was so fantastic, and please listen to it on audiobook even if you've read it, because the narrator was so awesome. She was so fun to listen to. She kind of sounds like Mandy Moore. I can't remember who narrates the book, but it was so good. It just was like captivating and fun, even though it's very, very high school, so just be prepared for that. But the language in it is just beautiful. The way Lauren Oliver describes what the main character is thinking and all that stuff is just like, ugh. And then the ending, and I know it's very controversial for some people, but I thought it was absolutely beautiful, absolutely perfect. This is a huge book. I just absolutely adored it. I was not a big fan of the movie because they had to cut and splice things so much that I felt it took away from the emotional aspects of the book, and you didn't have enough time to like get involved with the characters and like truly feel all the feels that you needed to feel when you're listening to or reading this book. And it was just absolutely breathtaking. I really loved it a lot. Can't wait to read more Lauren Oliver. Next up is the second Mermaid series that I read this month, and that would be I think this is called the Forgive My Fins series. This is Forgive My Fins. These are library covers, that's why they're shiny. And I think second one is Fins Are Forever, and third one is Just for Fins. These covers like kind of grew on me. I kind of hated them at first because they've got models on the cover and they have weird blue lipstick, and it basically doesn't tell you anything about the story at all. But these are by Tara Lynn Childs, and these are so much fun. These are middle grade books, and they're just fun. They're like reading a contemporary book, but with like a little bit of a fantasy element, because it's about a mermaid going to high school and like learning normal human things, but then also embracing her mermaid roots. She's half mermaid and half human, and oh my god, the male characters in this are so fun. They're so cute. The love story is adorable. The lead character is spunky and sassy and just awesome. She's just so hilarious, and these read super, super quickly, probably because they are a middle grade book. But I feel like the character is 17 in the book, so I don't know why they weren't classified as YA. She's got all this hilarious mermaid lingo, but not as much as the other book where it was like kind of crazy and a little bit goofy. This one is goofy and silly, but like you can tell that was the intention. So she'll just like, when she gets so frustrated about something, she'll just be like, ah, son of a swordfish, and like it just like totally cracks me up. And they're just freaking hilarious and cute, and so much so that I went and I bought her other middle grade young adult series. I think it's called Oh My Gods, which is kind of like a somewhat Percy Jackson-esque, where it's about a princess of like Zeus or whatever that learns how to be a goddess, and I'm really excited to read that based on how freaking cute these are, and I'm definitely going to be like buying these in the future. Okay, next up, I listened to Beautiful Creatures by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. Okay, I know this one has super, super mixed reviews, so much so that people don't even want to read it because apparently like the last couple books in the series are not as good. This is a quartet, I believe, and it's called the Castor Chronicles. This book is huge. It's like 600 pages. I listened to this one on audiobook, and again, I've had a stellar audiobook month. The narrator for this, and again I need to start remembering who the narrator is so good. He's not like a narrator and you don't feel like you're just sitting there reading a story. You feel like he's an actor. You feel like he is the character, and his sometimes women don't do very good male voices, but he does excellent women voices. And this is so unlike anything I've read. It's about a young guy in the city of Gatlin, which is in, I think it's in South Carolina. And it's just like a boring southern town with old southern ways and rules, and basically magical things start to happen. And there's a lot about the South, and like a lot of them have these accents that are so fun to listen to. And like, I don't know, I just absolutely loved it. Like, I'm probably gonna give it like 5 stars. I thought it was so fun. It was so different being like set in the South and being from a male perspective. What I really, really liked about this is there's a girl that comes in that he meets, and it's not really a spoiler, but it's technically, the book is like about the girl and her family, because she's basically kind of figuring herself out, but it's through the male protagonist's perspective. It was just really interesting that it was being told from a male's perspective about someone else. I mean, it was about his life too, but it was kind of about her journey. And I just thought the whole thing was so interesting and like really unique, at least from what I've read so far. I started listening to book 2, and so far I'm really liking it still. So hopefully it keeps going, because there's lots of cool things in here, and the world was pretty neat that they created, and I didn't really have any issues. Oh, the only issue that I did have, if you're gonna listen to the audiobook, is this entire audiobook's like 17 hours. It's super long because this book's really big, and he does such a good job narrating it that he kind of takes his time. The last part is they switch to the girl's perspective, and they have a girl narrator, and she almost killed it for me. I mean, if she had finished out the book instead of him, I don't think I would have liked it nearly as much. You won't have a problem if you're reading it, but listening to it, the narrator, the main guy narrator is so good, and the female one, just, you can tell, just does not understand the story. She does not become the character that she is, and I just really didn't like it. But thankfully the male character finishes it out, so it winds up being really good. But please listen to Beautiful Creatures, and I feel like it does keep going, but I feel like you could finish with this one and not be completely disappointed if you're worried about the last 3 books kind of ruining it for you. I have not listened to them or read them yet, so I'm starting on that, and I'm gonna go ahead and go for it because I absolutely loved it. I loved it. Okay, the last 2 books I read, I started these at the end of June. I was going on a lake trip, and I wanted something really easy that I could kind of fly through, so I brought this entire series with me, and I managed one of these. The second book I finished like the July 1st, but whatever. So I started To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. I think that's the name of the series as well. This is contemporary, and this is about Lara Jean and how she writes letters to boys to kind of get over them. So whenever she has like a crush, she says it's because she loves them, but really in high school we always think that we love people. It's a crush, and then whenever she gets over them or wants to get over them, she writes them a letter and she puts it in a hat box, and that's how she like moves on. Well, these letters get mysteriously sent out, and the boys find them, and then mini chaos ensues. I had a similar idea for a book like 10 years ago, so it was kind of cool to see it kind of come to life, because I had something similar in mind. The only thing that I wished was that they had a little bit more happen with the letters than what happened. It was, a lot happened, but then at the same time not as much happened as you expected. But other than that, I read this one, and I read P.S. I Still Love You, and I am in the middle of the final book, Always and Forever, Lara Jean. But these first 2, oh my gosh, they're so cute. I was not expecting to like these that much. I thought it was going to be really like unnecessarily dramatic, and I'm always nervous when I go into contemporary because I have a very specific style, but these are like the cutest. They're the cutest, like the cutest contemporary book I've ever read. The male characters in here are just like so much fun. They're funny and they're sweet, and they're like, they remind me of guys that I grew up with. And I love how innocent and sweet. I know that bugs people about Lara Jean, that she's like super innocent and naive, but I knew a lot of girls, and I think that I was like that too. at 16 that were like that. So that's very realistic. So as an adult reading it, it might annoy you, but that's kind of how a lot of teenagers are, is that they are learning things and they're figuring stuff out. And I just love these. They were so sweet. They like made me emotional. They made me cry. I never once looked at the page number to see like how long I had left. I just devoured them right up. I read this one in the car trip in like 4 hours or something. I think I finished whichever one so quickly, and I'm almost done with the 3rd book, and we're like a little bit into July now. I love them. I love them so much. And I'm not going to go into any spoilers about things that happen, but I just think they're really sweet to read, and I was so shocked how much I love them, and way, way better than some of the other contemporary books that I've read. I had a fantastic reading month. I had almost no disappointments. I was kind of meh about Anomaly and a little bit meh about Stuart Little, but everything else I like adored. I loved them, and I am kind of easy to please, but I was really proud of myself. So I read, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then I'm missing 1 mermaid book, so I read 12 books this month, which was a lot. That was like a lot. I think we're 7 days into July and I've only read like 1 book maybe, but I did listen to 3 of these on audiobooks, so that's kind of how I was able to do that much. But I'm having a really great summer, and I'm really excited to keep going with Mermaid Marathon, and I'm also going to keep mixing books in there too because it's just more fun. But yeah, that is what my wrap up is for June. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time on the bright side. Bye!